Oh, that was
Alright.
a there was a date.
Not less than 2 weeks.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Put that pretty well in sync this time.
What, me? You want me to put the coffee mask on?
He's Trump.
I got a Trump mask, too. It's right here. You think that would go?
I couldn't wear that at work.
Oh,
I told you I had one.
No checks.
And I did bring my glasses today. So I
Good.
can read.
Ready.
Kristen Patch, 44608, Kendra Brackett, 49643, Matthew Bergeron, 78272, Charles Fitzgerald III, 10224, Erica Kenyon is 13753, William Kenyon's 34030, Timothy Lindeman is 36552, Carrie Mason is 8475.
for a total of $2,755.57.
Thank you.
We also issued a check last week because we bought the food company for $757.45.
$747.45, Kevin Nealon.
Right.
And there was another note for $119.10.
That's the FICA for that check.
When you get to Karen, give me at least 2 seconds to write.
Okay.
I'll be looking at the second hand on my clock.
Wait till you see what I do. Tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Eleanor Cherry is $1,371.96. Andrew Bickham is $603.09. Joseph Bird is $922.55. Caden Blazik Ahern is $541.16. Mark Brightman is $234.34. Gloria Mendia Becerra is $382.62. Gabrielle Burgess is $109.58. Adanar Chardonnay is $359.69. Karen Clement is $1,065.17. Mississippi, 2
Go.
Mississippi, there you go. Jeffrey Collins is $748.85. Katie Coppola is $78.50. Eli Corson is $168.69. Keith Culligan is $582.92. Alyssa Sanuski is $357.02. Michael Dame is $718. Kiki Donis Walls $172.52. Robert Gagnon is $642.96. Jason Grant is $445.09. Andrew Gray is $424.60. Mary Lyons Hall is $142.22. John Isabel is $631.96. Kip Kaiser $777.92. Joyce Kegel is $513.26. Peter King is $77.09. Kevin Nealand is $1,524.20. Julie Labonte is $1,108.63. Stephanie Lazat Croto is $394.39. Heather Lindsay is $611.87. Samuel Matos is $891.97. Robert McCon is $930.32. Aaron Mitchell is $196.35. Casey Newell is $224.92. Sarah Parkhurst is $439.78. Jeremy Potter is $742.87. Brian Rains is $376.78. Nathan Richard is $108.01. Wayne Robinson is $921.73. Christopher Spitaleri is $938.41. Katrina Tennant is $398.17. Josh Turner is $1,267.18. Olivia Wall is $68.45. Daniel Wicks is $1,150.88. Janice Weirs is $769.87. Jeremy Worcester is $699.55. Daphne Wass is $686.80, and Jared Wright Ward is $618.81.
For a total of $27,216.70.
Combined total of $30,719.72. We had 28.25 hours overtime at the PD, 1 at the fire, and none at the highway. We have a voided check for $28. $228. That's my artwork.
Tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Below Brothers is $112. Christopher Sperry is $172.80. Citizens Bank is $11.96. Karen Clement is $10.61. Comcast is $169.46. Sear Polygraph Services is $600 even. E&J Auto Parts is $13.20. Eversource is $152.51. Health Trust Inc. is $15.38. Gary and Patricia Martino is $598.57. Samuel Matos is $248.40. National Wrecker Service is $1,842.51. Neptune Uniforms is $1,922.59. New Hampshire State Firemen's Association is $644. New Hampshire Retirement is $21,268.30. Rockingham Planning Commission, $16.
Overpay.
TMDE Calibration Labs, $300. Valak is $492.90, and WB Mason is $403.43.
For a total of $28,994.62.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John. Yes, sir.
John,
Look at all the money we have left.
does this minus this equal that?
Yes.
Yes. And this number includes that number,
Okay.
and this number includes this, and this.
I wish this was my Dunkin' Donuts card, but it's not.
We have
Yeah, I see it.
DD,
DD, Dunkin'
some
Donuts.
rec checks. Need to get Andy a new red folder.
Not in the budget.
Is it falling apart?
I think that's the same folder from Margaret's time.
Is it?
I think so.
WB Mason's here enough, I think they can get a red
You
folder.
just spent $403 at WB Mason, as Jeff used to say, a
Well,
lot
it
of
doesn't even
donuts.
close on the backside.
I'll look to see if I have red plastic one at home.
It's almost like a relic that you,
Oh, my God.
like you're reading the
And
Bill of Rights.
Can we bring it over to Swayze and have them laminate it?
Well, I could go to
You
his
can laminate it
society
here.
like it is. Well, we're good, as long as you don't write those big checks, we're good, John.
We try to keep it in code just for you, Bill.
Thank you.
Well, now, what'd you tell us? Next month it's another 700,000 or something?
Well, next week or the week after, it's another 205. To take care of the balance of October. And then the beginning of November, it's $699, $460 for the co-op. And two at 205
900.
for Swayze, so it's over 900 each month.
Okay, so that takes care of the 2 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we gotta keep the rest of
Who
our.
gracious with $127,000?
Well, we got a 28,000 from the state for block grant. The rec department paid us back 15,000 something for, expenses we've covered for year to date. Kip took in $14,500 in impact fees for that project up on North Road,
Yep.
bringing the total impact fee income. What do you want to guess? We've taken in.
For the year?
Just for that
the
development.
project.
Oh, just for that project?
125. Okay,
More.
I'd say 98.
How much is the
I'm right
impact?
around 100, 115.
$194,000,
Ooh,
Wow.
Wow.
54 units at $3,618 apiece.
They're at 54 right now, huh?
Well, there's 54 planned for construction starting.
Oh, they're recording those. They're
What's the,
recording
what's the total amount that they're putting in there?
100 and-
I don't know if that finishes the currently approved phase or not.
phase
There's a
2 is
whole-
supposed to
There's
start
a whole
in
nother
November.
phase coming.
Yeah,
It's supposed to start in November.
I thought 107 total.
I think you're close. I think it's 114.
Wow, that's gonna be like a city in itself, huh?
We've got to find a way to spend that money.
Oh, don't worry.
Don't worry, the
Karen's in
departments
charge.
will,
It'll
The
disappear.
library, by the way, is gonna be
We-
coming
how-
to
how long- we
us
have
for
a couple of years
15,000
though,
for that
right?
grant,
How-
for the
2 years?
7.
handicap doors.
So,
Right,
yeah.
it's 7 years we have to spend it?
can that come out of impact fee?
But.
No,
but
I want it to
has
come out
be
of the
capital project. It can't be
$106,000.
just replacement.
No, something new, yeah.
We'll spend the
Well, that's
handicap
good news.
somewhere else.
No, that's good. No, I see them at least once a week at the courthouse recording these. I mean,
Yeah.
and they're selling them.
And those-
They're selling those.
The last 4, they just put in the foundations to beat the weather. But the prior 50 or 51 were all pre-sold.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If you look at how many is sold, they keep saying pending, pending, pending. And the prices,
Real estate price is crazy.
The prices come down on those too.
they have 400 something,
No, they start at like 360.
I haven't seen any for that.
Oh, yeah, I had somebody, was looking at them Sunday.
Some are going for 500,
Some are higher.
Yeah,
The
I
average
haven't
price
seen
is right
any
around
for 3.
425 or something like
so you figure 400,000 apiece, I mean, that's, if they do 107, that's 42 million bucks
Yeah.
in valuation in there.
Yep.
So if they only give us 200,000, I'm pissed.
that. Well, see, I'm thinking the other way, if the tax rate doesn't change.
Maybe we can move him to Epic.
I want more money.
All right,
All right.
all right.
building permits.
Ready? I have a list.
You have a list?
No, good.
Three Pond LLC, 1 Tuck Drive, electrical permit. We have Three Pond LLC electrical permits for 1 Tuck Drive, 2 Tuck Drive, 3 Tuck Drive, 4 Tuck Drive, and 5 Tuck Drive. Sharon Grand's staff, 102 Lyford Lane is a demo permit. Scott Foy, 143 South
that?
Road, an electrical permit.
What, are we demoing the whole house, or?
I didn't read it, I just got
Who,
done.
Foy?
I'll tell you when I get there.
Okay.
And
Foy's
Dens-
building a new house up on South Road.
Denson, number 109, unit 3,
It's
on Holly Falls. is
it's the
looking
trailer
to,
at the end of the road.
Uh,
It's on.
trailers.
It's being replaced.
The 1974 mobile home to be demoed.
Yeah, they went to the,
Yeah, I don't have to worry about,
CDA.
I don't have to worry about that for
No.
asbestos or anything, because that would just be formaldehyde.
Is that the trailer on North Road?
yeah, across the street from Ed Buckley.
On North Road?
No,
Actually, it's on Lyford, on the corner.
Oh,
It's the same
oh,
property that owns the
right,
duplex.
And are they putting another mobile home, or?
Yes, manufactured home.
manufactured home.
Oh, you sign that? No, let's see.
they're using the same footprint.
It's actually a really good price for a demo. Officer?
A few more things for signatures, you wanna just keep doing that?
Sure.
I have the election warrant for the presidential election.
Take a motion to sign the election warrant, it'll be.
Certainly.
Where is the, where do you sign this one?
And this one is right down the back, I'm sorry.
Oh, on the back. Thank you.
So I have a motion, do I have a second to sign the election warrant to be held at Swayze Central School from 7 AM to 7 PM? Motion and second, any discussion? All Favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Just the loser of the election.
Maybe not.
Oh, you think he would appreciate it?
Maybe they'll be happy.
There's never losers, there's only winners.
Yeah, what?
Second runner-ups.
Greg Coppola resigned from the library trustees, and Tom Walker, they would like to appoint as a library trustee to fill his seat until March.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
You can just slide somewhere in there.
Did Greg have too far to travel?
I think so. A field septic waiver was signed by you for Lindy's, the Brentwood Country Store. in regards to the setbacks to the river. They submitted everything through DES and they had to make some adjustments for DES. So now instead of being, I think 94 feet, it's now 87 feet to the river, so they had to move it a little bit closer. So this is a new scale septic waiver.
DES wanted it closer to the river?
I think they had to change the location because they had to add another tank in the back.
Oh,
And so
gotcha.
the only way to do it was to push it forward.
I'll take a motion to have me sign the
Motion.
sale septic waiver.
Second?
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Send that to Bob, please.
Wayne would like to replace 8 lights at the highway shed. They are $140 per fixture. So for 8 fixtures,
just
he's
gonna
looking
throw
for
the pile.
$1,120.
Are they LED lights?
He's replacing them with LED, so he's got the ballast have failed on a few of his lights.
Is,
So he's replacing them with LED.
is Eversource giving out any credits for,
They may be.
Yeah, let's.
Can we use impact fees?
I don't know if that amount would qualify, but we can look into it.
well, even if they give 10%, it's 10%.
I'll make a motion that we approve Wayne's request.
Can we use impact fees for this, since it's upgrading to LEDs?
No, it's not new.
Highway doesn't have impact fees.
Oh, really? Oh, well, then I guess that goes there.
Nice try.
How can a highway not have impact fees? Because you need more,
I know,
Trucks and plows and,
But they don't count the infrastructure, like road infrastructure and culverts as
but
impact
trucks,
fee funds.
you know, for every so
Every
many
road.
miles of road you create, you need to buy a new truck. There was a statement on the floor to ask Eversource if they'll pay for part of it. So did you wanna withdraw your
Oh,
motion?
sure, I'll
or-
incorporate that in my motion to approve.
Okay.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
The hazard pay for the PD was $18,642.87, so I'm requesting you increase the PD budget by that amount, and also by another $1,017.80 for the opioid grant revenue.
And that money's coming back
Is
in
that
for
go-
the grant?
go- go-
The revenue's already here, but in order, you can't reapply it back to the expense line, so you have to increase their budget, cause it's money they've already spent, and then the revenue comes in on the other side to offset it. But you can't apply it directly back to the expense line.
I'll make the motion, we approve both of those.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Same thing with
Who made the
fire
motion?
department.
Ken?
Yep,
Mask one and non-mask one.
And then similarly, $14,171.47 for the hazard pay for fire.
yes, motion.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Okay.
Bob,
Motion on the minutes.
Second.
motion and second on the minutes, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Phyllis, I think you weren't here, correct?
That's-
Right,
She
she
was-
changed it,
abstains.
she changed it.
No, you just said aye, so I didn't know
Oh,
if you
sorry,
wanted to
oh,
abstain.
okay.
We didn't have non-public there? No.
No,
So the next issue is a Karen issue.
I have some items for non-public.
And then, before we go into non-public, because I'm assuming that we're probably not gonna come back into public.
correct.
The library is gonna be coming forward, I was there yesterday, they're gonna be coming forward with their proposal for the handicap entrance doors to be submitted as part of the grant, through that $106,000 we got. And I think that was around $12,100, and then they have an electrical that has to be done too. So I think they made a motion yesterday not to exceed 15,000, so just so we're aware that it's gonna be coming in probably next Tuesday.
And I did price out 8 laptops, docking stations, external CD drives, monitors, and it was just under 11,000 for Block 5. And I'll submit that to the Gopher grant.
Okay.
Now, is that two separate motions, or?
You guys approved that
No,
last
we
week,
did
I was
that.
just
Oh,
giving you an
okay.
update on the price.
So I did ask her to get you, Janice, to get you that information so we can vote on that for next Tuesday, but just so you're aware that that's coming in. She said she would get it to you this week. I think she was off today.
At the school board meeting last night, they, now think the town hall facilities are too small, and they're going to reach out probably to Andy, but I told them they should reach out to Karen, but, to see if maybe the rec center might be a feasible alternative. They would still like to film, and I don't know how they would do that. And they were also asking, not me, they didn't ask me, but they were discussing it, about the money they submitted to us back in September, of the expenses that they had, what was 38,000 or something like that. And I didn't have an answer for them, and
They still haven't gotten her any of the supports that she asked for.
I don't think so either, so,
After that initial meeting on what, September
15th,
15th,
nothing.
I called Molly the next day and I told her I needed some sort of documentation to support their request, all of the grants that they'd applied for, the either reason they were approved or denied, and then, if they chose to not apply, why they chose to not apply, and I never received anything from them.
And my understanding is they were approved on 9/15. They applied for and were approved for the ESSER CARES funding, and it was through, with Exeter SAU, through the Department of Education documents.
So can you just copy Melissa on that email that you sent back in September, and that way they know?
Is this being double charged, or am I missing something here?
They've already, the school has already approved it.
They've already spent, well, the school budget, they put in filters,
Right.
and it cost 38,000, they've already approved it, and they were coming to us to try and get that money reimbursed.
I think there's a communication breakdown between the
Oh,
school and the
okay,
school
alright.
board.
But it came out of their original budget.
Well, and then I would also be curious about this ESSER CARES
Yeah, where's that?
funding that they got through the Department of Education.
Can we find out whether this award that they received from the Department of Education was for the entire SAU? If that's the case, then we should get our appropriate share.
That might just be the annual municipal aid,
Oh, okay.
like we
Well, if it's
get,
CARES, then
It
it's,
says it's ESSER CARES funding.
So what is, does that apply to the district or,
I don't know, but CARES usually is associated with COVID.
It's,
okay,
and it's through the Department of Education, and it was part of the Exeter SAU, so.
And they should share that with all 6 towns.
for our appropriate share, I would assume.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And that was applied for and approved on 9/15, according to the
The other-
Department of Education documents.
The other piece of news that was was that a couple of teachers have left.
Through
So-
Swayze, or?
Yes, one's given a notice to leave as of the end of October, one left Friday. Personal reasons, but I think it was to care for her child. And they're scrambling to try and hire someone. She's a speech therapist and a special ed certified, so it's a little more difficult to find that person. And people are inquiring about how can they get, more people are inquiring about how they can get into the face-to-face, and a couple of people have dropped out, so that the net effect is about the same. The next opportunity for people to come into Swayze face-to-face is early November, and the 9th, I think, is when the quarter's over, so. They were told last night, you need to let the school know that you're interested, and to do a survey before that date, and so they can plan for how many more students they may have, and going forward. People in other towns are now asking our school board how they can get face-to-face too, so.
And they did do a survey through the SAU. They had a meeting on that. 75% of the respondents said they want in-person students.
Yes, they do.
So that was, David released that on Friday night.
Yeah.
So 75% of the people want in-person, so
in-person.
they're trying to push for that.
Seems
right?
to be working out well, so I think most people are.
Motion to go into
Down-
non-public.
Downstairs.
Oh, downstairs. I went down because I had to bring the keys back because I debadged the car that we're giving away for auction. And just so everyone's aware, Kip was there to get gas, and while he was there, we noticed his tires were fairly bald, but the car that we're getting rid of had brand new tires on it, so
it's not
the highway
downstairs, it's at the highway shed.
the highway department jacked it up and switched the tires. So we have brand new tires on Kip's thing, because the one we're getting rid of now has bald ones. So I was happy about that.
Oh, that's good.
But I brought the keys back downstairs tonight and I walked through, there's trim that's not finished on the doors. The drywall, they painted over stuff that they never even sanded down, so it looks like it's crap. There's a bench in the bathroom where for some reason, instead of bolting it to the floor, so the nice rounded part is, you know, where everyone's gonna step, and the bolts are actually in the ground, is actually, they bolted it upside down, so the round part's on the underneath of a piece of plywood, and so now the bolts are sticking up where you would actually stick your feet. That's not a safety hazard. And then there's a hole in the ceiling, don't know what it goes for,
Go back to the bench. Is that in the mail locker room or is that in the?
the mail
in the
locker room.
Don't you think that Kip would have a punch list of these items?
I would hope so.
He
And
did
then-
do a punch list. I don't believe that the punch list items were
And,
complete.
and they made a ramp going from
Yes.
the old section to the new section. I don't know why they didn't make it a step. That's a safety hazard. It's literally like,
That's
and it's about maybe 1.5 2 foot long, so that's beyond, and I would think that wouldn't even make code. So I would like Kip to take a look at that to see if it's actually code compliant, because from a safety aspect of it, if I was the insurance company coming in here looking at it as an underwriter, I wouldn't touch that thing. And then there's a hole in the ceiling, don't know why. They also didn't finish doing the cove molding.
Hole in ceiling where?
That is in right outside where the chief's office is gonna be.
So that may have been left open for wiring for the camera. You have one camera that can go down in that area, and there's also needs to be wiring run for,
The hole's as big as this,
internet and, phone.
okay, are they gonna cap it off, what are they gonna do?
They'll have to, but
And then they also moved the old door when you walk in, so where the chief's office is, or was, they moved the door back behind hers.
Yeah.
They left the old frame there, and they took out all the components, so now I have jagged metal, that's literally where everyone goes into. And in winter time, everyone's fingers become a little bit brittle, anybody rubs up against that, it's gonna slice them open. I actually pointed it out to the officer who was down there, Bob, and he was like, "Oh, that is pretty sharp." I'm like, "It's metal." They could easily cut that frame out and just put a piece of wood trim there and painted it. Looks like they're already done because they painted literally the section that they moved. I think they'll have to have a painting party to finish the rest of it. And then the cove molding that they put around, they literally just stopped it and didn't do anything in some of the other areas, so it's like, why didn't, they just didn't cut a piece this big, they just left it there. So it's pretty hacky and jacky, would be the way I would put it, hack and jack. I was kind of surprised when I went down there and looked at it.
So is Kip
I don't
clerk
know
of the
if-
works? Is that he? Is
He is clerk of the works.
I don't know
So
if
does he
it's,
have that punch list too, I would think?
I just did that just walking through.
Oh.
That was
well,
me just walking through today going, the bench is the one that kind of really set me off, because I was kind of like, why would they bolt it to the floor? Instead, they bolted to a piece of plywood, and now I got 8 bolts sticking up. And I'm like, I can see you getting out of the shower, you sit down, you're getting dressed, then you put your foot there, and now I got my foot through a bolt.
Ouch.
I don't think that bench was built. I think that's one that they moved from their old
It's got metal
locker room.
feet on it,
Yeah,
and it's got a wood seat on it. It's just a little bench, it's like that big.
yeah,
It looks like it bolts to the floor.
because it moves.
Well, now it does.
Well,
Now it can slide around, but now I got bolts
I don't think
sticking
that was
straight
part
up.
of this project, but
If anything, I would have probably sheared the bolts off if I was gonna do that, so I don't cut myself. Just a safety
and I'll
concern of
have
mine.
Kip do a walkthrough, because he had his punch list. I haven't seen it, so.
And I would definitely look at the that ramp that they put in. It doesn't fit with ADA, cause it's not wide enough. And it's so steep that I think they would have been better off putting in one step to comply.
Are you done, sir?
I'm done. Now I make a motion that we go to
Well,
non-public.
first, does anybody
Wait.
have anything?
Wait a minute. Before
What
you do
about
that,
your
let's talk
postcards?
about street signs.
How about your postcard?
I understand that the
Postcard.
tuck sign is available.
Yes,
I'd like to take that tonight and present it. there's no way he's gonna come here.
No, I understand.
Do you need a motion for that now?
So
What's he say, what did he say?
He wants to take Tuck's.
do you have it
Sorry.
readily
It's in my
available?
room, yeah.
But before we
Can we
go,
get it now?
you have something to say about the Crawley Falls Road subdivision.
Yeah, so Dana Clay's property that's getting developed, they're putting in a cluster. I would like to make a motion to name that Dana Clay Way or Drive
Or circle.
or Circle, depends on how the road is gonna be done. And I'd like to make that motion fairly quickly,
Well,
I'll
tell him
second
the
it.
reason.
I'll second.
because he's,
Do you want, does
Yeah,
does
I
that
don't
person
think
want
you
that
want-
public?
yeah,
No, I think you wanna wait on that.
I'll second it.
So, I don't know about that whole thing, it's just a long road name.
Dana Clay Drive.
Yeah, Clay Drive,
Yeah.
Dana Drive,
Yeah, Dana Drive's fine, Dana Clay Drive, something like
I don't know. I like Dana Clay, I think it kinda all works, it's two short names, but
but we
that's.
first have to vet it with
Okay,
That person?
so
With
vet
Can we
it,
ask that person?
vet it with the,
You have to ask that person.
well, you have to vet it with the
Oh.
person, you have to vet
Okay.
it with
Kensington?
everybody in the 03833 zip code,
oh, right, cause there's several towns,
so.
okay. So how do we vet that?
Karen takes care of that.
The vetter does it.
So what is it gonna be, Dana Clay or Dana, just Dana?
Well, it depends on, you said it's not gonna be a circle,
I don't think it's
so it
gonna
might
be
be
a
two if it's two different roads, then we gotta name two different roads, so. You got Dana Drive and Clay Drive, I guess. I guess that's how I do it.
The sign so you can show.
Yes, please,
And do you need a motion for him to take the signs or no?
no, because it's already been,
It's already been approved, so. And while we're waiting,
What,
I'm gonna complain about the state sending two cards
To do what?
for one address
To do what?
about,
What is it for?
They're
This
gonna do
is-
an exterior walk.
they're basically double checking on what we just had
ERT.
done.
The assessment that was
Yeah.
done.
So, and I got two of these at 35 cents a whack, and so did Ken, so I'm assuming the rest of you are too. So I just
Well,
think it's
well, maybe they
inefficient.
saved money and only sent them to two of us, and
So we're only gonna do
we
half.
still up one.
So we saved 35 cents?
Yes.
Cause I just brought it in and told you.
so what's gonna happen with that?
I'm
He's gonna present that to
tonight.
Gil. So he's gonna give that to him.
Yes,
All
So
right.
this is Tuck Drive,
And that's over at Three Ponds, right?
yes,
Yeah,
and Ken will present this to Gil Tuck tonight,
perfect.
or whenever.
And then they'll put it up over on the,
No, that's his.
He gets one.
oh, he
and we
gets
have
one.
He gets his own.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Much bigger
Yes.
than
I'm new to
you
this,
think,
okay?
right?
yeah, much
Yeah.
bigger. I'll let you touch it.
Oh, that's okay, I
They'll
just,
feel it.
I
That's
don't
really heavy,
understand,
huh?
I never have, this is my first process doing something like this.
Girthy.
It's heavy, he's just wanting you to know.
It's
how
very
heavy it is.
nice. Oh, they'll be,
That's
Mrs.
as
Tuck,
big as your bench.
that'll be
See, I didn't
exciting.
plan I had this marked,
Yeah,
so it's just
it doesn't
here,
have
and I
bolts
have one
sticking up in
here,
it though.
too.
Be safer to sit on it.
They'll be excited, that's nice. So when does the one go over to the,
It's already there.
On the street?
Yeah, they
Oh,
put
it
up
is?
street signs.
Oh, did, okay. Do they have stop signs and everything else in there too?
I believe
What
they
about the
have
rest
at
of
least
them? What are
one
we gonna
stop
do
sign that I
those?
remember.
The only other one, well, I have James and I have Wilson.
Mr. Bob,
Good evening.
come on in, sit down.
Don't get too comfortable.
Do you have something for us? Because we were just about to go to non-public and be done for the night.
Wow, was my timing good or what?
Yeah, it was.
I have three things.
Okay, can you just sit in that chair, because that's where the speaker is. You can take the comfy chair with you if you want.
I'll start, thanks, I'm good. I'll start with the Mill Road project. Did you discuss it tonight?
We haven't yet.
No.
Is that gonna be in closed session?
No, so I have the contract documents that I'm working through reviewing. The bid document is like 130 pages. Bob had left me a message suggesting that we postpone construction until next year at this time. So,
Is there-
Because of the contract?
and the timing of putting it out to bid at this point, and then by the time they come back and review.
Okay, makes
So it
sense.
might be past the time for weather-wise.
Exactly, yeah. It was a good try.
Yep.
Everyone worked hard to get the project out, to see if we could get it out this year. It wasn't the original plan anyway. We were expecting construction for next year. But I thought it was worth a try, and we just ran out of time. So if we if the planets aligned and we bid it, and the bids came in good, and, everything went perfect on the project, we may be able to get it in, but 30 years I've been doing this, and I don't think any project's ever come in perfectly, so, you know, it's an imperfect world. I just don't think it's worth the risk, and we're still.
No, but it gives us more time to do the bid, and then we can maybe be early on in the
Yeah,
process as
exactly.
opposed to later.
Yeah, there's no downside to this really.
Yeah, makes
It would've
sense.
been a good try, but we just couldn't do it.
Do you wanna bid it now for construction next year, or wait and bid it in like February for construction to start?
I'm open to either way.
Is there
And,
a preference?
There's advantages to both.
And we're not pressed right now, are we? I mean,
No, but if we bid it now, we might get a good,
price and.
price. And,
Schedule.
we could always rebid it if, you know, if our language is correct in the bid documents, we can rebid it if they don't come into our liking. Right now, everything's up in the air, I think, nobody knows what the world's gonna be like in, you know,
Nope.
9 months. So, the uncertainty could work to our advantage, or it could be a disadvantage. So,
I'd be fine with bidding it right now.
Yeah.
it wouldn't hurt, I mean, when you say right now, I mean, as soon as our.
As soon as you possibly
When we're
can,
done with the
yeah.
documentation.
Yeah. So I'm fine with that. I don't think there's a downside, really, it's a little bit of extra effort, but there's no downside really to it. If you all and Karen agree, I'm fine with that.
When would you recommend construction begin?
Well, we'll talk about that in the office probably tomorrow or early next week. Well, I think this year, the weather was so dry that any time would have been good from June on, really. Normally, for a project like this, we like mid to late summer at the earliest. But it really depends on what's going on that year with the weather. I mean, with the drought right now.
There's not a lot of water over there either, right?
I'm sorry?
Not a lot of water over there, so I don't think there'll be a lot of water over there next year either, so.
Well, probably not, Bill, but,
Never know.
boy,
Yeah,
crazy
I know,
things
yeah,
happen.
I know.
You know, I was standing at that dam in 2007 with Wayne going, holy smokes, you know, where'd all this water come
We
from?
had like 2 30-year floods in
So,
5
years.
years.
That's true.
All right, so anything else?
I need to change hats, if it's okay with you. The Sportsmen of Brentwood, which I'm the president of, if any of you didn't know that, that's a fact. I received a message recently from one of our members who was hunting the Stevens property, and he was chased by 2 separate dogs and treed by them. I'm not really sure what to do about that, but I wanted to let you know so that maybe we could put our heads together and see if there's a solution to that, or some, I mean, the hunters know that they have to amicably share these resources with everyone, like the hikers need to know that too, right? So, you know, nobody's, you know, screaming about it, but it's a shame that this hunter was out in the woods and he got chased away from his hunting spot and up a tree, you know, by a couple of.
Well, do you know who the dogs belong to?
I don't know. I know who the hunter was, but I don't.
Generally, cause I know I walk a lot with my dog, and I walk a lot with my dog off leash. And the rule is, we don't have to reinvent anything. The rule is that you have to have control of your dog at all times. Now, my dog's off leash, when she sees another dog, she bolts.
Really need to find out who
Now,
owns the dog.
I have control, cause I have a collar that I use when she does that. She's not aggressive, she just likes to go play with other dogs.
No, and I
Other
know.
dogs don't know that, and other dog owners don't know that.
Right.
The rule is, you have to have control of your dog at all times. You can be off leash, This instance that you're talking about, if, in my old role, I would find out who owns those dogs, and I would have a chat with them, at
Mhm.
least at the very minimum, because they clearly didn't have control of their dog.
Yeah, they,
So you can't have your dogs off leash if you can't control.
But we don't have a leash law in this town.
We don't need one.
you don't need
No, I didn't
one.
say that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Maybe you
there's
could put a
law.
note, a little note in the Brentwood newsletter, you know.
And
That's
maybe
an
that's,
idea.
maybe that's all you need, is just a reminder of what the law entails for dog owners.
Yeah.
Because, you know, very easily, he could have been bitten, and that leads to a whole nother series of issues.
Yeah, I agree. As a hunter, I just think you, just to enter into the thinking here, if a dog, even a friendly dog, jumps up on a hunter or licks his face or whatever, that hunt is blown for that hunter. Most of these people are insane about scent control and all kinds of stuff, so, any contact with the dog is gonna ruin the hunt for a person who takes care to do all that stuff. So, I know, I mean, I run my dog too on land, and, you know, if she's off leash, she can get away, so, I understand. I was thinking that maybe we could, and, this is just an idea, it's not the solution necessarily, but I was thinking maybe we could just, put out, a public service message and ask folks that during hunting season, they keep their dogs on a leash when they're out walking in the public land. Or some, you know, a collar or something like that, something where they obey the commands. I don't know that that's the answer, but that's one idea I have, so.
Well, I know, like, for me, when I take my dog out, I know when it's hunting season, and I
Yeah.
try to stay out of the woods with my dog, cause I don't want somebody going, what's that thing going across the road?
Yeah.
Pop, taking it out, so,
Well, there's, you know, there are laws against shooting a dog, even if it's chasing a deer, actually, that's illegal. But it's also illegal to harass a hunter. So, we've gotta share the woods, that's the
Mhm.
bottom line. And the hunters use it, you know, I'm just thinking that maybe encouraging folks to leash their dogs during deer hunting season, which is September 15th to December 15th.
I think it would be better if it came from the sportsman.
I try to stay out of the
Well,
woods.
So
in the
I will
hunting
tell you,
season.
this is just personal now, okay? Not as a selectman, but just as a person who takes his dog in the woods almost every day. I wear orange, and my dog wears orange, and she likes to run, and I like to let her run. So I would not be, as a dog owner, as my particular dog owner, I would not be in favor of putting my dog on a leash, period.
Well, I don't think you could even enforce that, because we don't have a leash law.
Right.
No, but what we could do is we could put a reminder of, in the newsletter as to what the law is, that you have, you know, what the law reads, and to be,
Cognizant of
be
it.
cognizant of the fact that people are out there using the trails and using the woods, besides just out there hiking with their dogs, but people are also out there, it's a multi-purpose arena, so to speak.
Well, I think on our town website, it would be more effective. Not that we shouldn't put it in the newsletter, but if we put it on our webpage, it's the voice of authority.
Remind people it's hunting season, and
Exactly,
there's some rules and regulations.
A lot of
that you
people
should
don't read the
follow, and some-
Brentwood.
No, I know that, but we can always make that
You
reference.
can do both.
I often post on the Brentwood Facebook pages, they're not official pages, obviously, but I often post on their public service announcements, but they have more teeth, frankly, pardon the pun, if I can point folks to a website, like
Right.
if the town website said something, I can post a link to it on the Facebook pages and say, you know, share the woods with a hunter, you know,
Be aware that they're gonna, that
Yeah,
deer
beware the
season's right
dogs.
now. Control your animals, be careful of your animals out there.
I don't blame you, Bill, for not wanting to leash your dog. I struggle with the very issue, you know. So, but the hunters should be able to go out there and not be bothered by a dog.
Well, not to diminish the hunter, but anybody should be able to go out there and enjoy. That could have been a
Somebody just
10-year-old
walking.
girl out
Yep.
walking, and does
Yep.
she know enough to climb a tree? So we need to
Gently remind.
remind people that if something happens, they need to notify the police department. It's great if you call a friend, but Facebook friends won't solve the problem. We need to notify the police department so they can handle it and deal with, because, you know, heaven forbid it was not an agile hunter that could climb a tree, but somebody
Maybe
else.
Some other girl, yeah.
I'd
So-
lost several pounds if it was me,
Every,
because I can't climb a tree.
everybody should be able to enjoy the public land,
I know what happens when you get attacked.
so.
I have a fresh reminder.
We will put something in the newsletter and on the website.
Yeah, hopefully that's all we need to do.
Yes.
And then I will point folks to it on the Facebook pages and stuff. All right, the last thing is on the Concom, I missed a meeting, I guess. I wasn't available to come to a department head meeting or something.
Yes.
Should I just huddle up with Karen about that and,
Yeah, that was basically budget, so,
yeah, so we have a meeting next Wednesday, the Concom does. Should we discuss this budget business then?
We were looking primarily for budgets to come in flat, except for,
Required expense.
employees, so
I
for
don't think that'll
salaries.
be an issue for us, because we're still getting around, our arms around what issues we wanna tackle, and for right now, you know, the status quo is fine with us. I think that's right, you agree, Phyllis?
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, we don't really,
And nobody really gets paid on that, because the secretary, I don't know about the new one, but the old one, she didn't wanna get paid, so
yeah,
no one really gets paid. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Did you guys do the gravel on the trail, the Martin Town Trail?
no, that was the trail committee, Debbie Briscoe.
I was just curious why they dug holes at the beginning of the trail. They dug two huge pits.
Stop the dogs.
Could be that, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's where, I
Speed
know
bump.
historically where water runs in and it gets muddy, and I know they put the gravel down to kind of offset some of the mud that will accumulate.
I think that's what she's trying to do, she's gonna fix that.
But then next to that, there's these huge, big dugout holes. I don't know if they're just using that to kind of run water to it. I'll check with Debbie. and
How
see.
big is huge, Bill?
Well, not huge, huge. I mean, like, you know, they used a little caterpillar or whatever to dig it out, so,
They did.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't done by hand. I could see there were tracks there, so somebody with a little caterpillar kind of.
She usually
scooped
comes
up
to our
some-
meetings, so hopefully,
Yeah,
So maybe just ask her, my suspicion when I saw it was that, maybe they're hoping that the water will run over the gravel and into this little hole that they have there.
well, we shouldn't have an open hole.
I agree that she came in twice to meetings and talked to us about doing some work out there, but I didn't understand there to be an excavator or a backhoe involved. Did you, Phyllis?
no,
And those holes clearly shouldn't be left open.
Well, you
We'll
have
get
to
the
hurt
bottom
yourself, because they're only probably about like
Okay.
this.
Then maybe they're just a drain.
Probably just a
for
drain,
drainage.
but I just found it curious.
It'll still hurt if you step in it.
Well, you could, yeah, you could.
We like the idea of the trail improvements because they keep people on the trail rather than, you know, deviating.
I have mixed feelings about that, but that's just me.
Wow. Is it right at the beginning?
I do too.
Yeah,
The
it's right.
sportsmen, for instance, wouldn't have trails. They, you know, they just walk through the woods,
Well,
you know? So
yeah, I'm with you on that.
I have mixed
I
feelings
know where the
about it.
trails, I know where to go, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
you know, if you go read the conservation minutes, it's in there what she planned to do, so.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Could maybe we get Wayne to go over a couple grade stakes and just, so
Stake
somebody
it.
sees the hole? If it's a
I don't want him
hazard.
to fix them, you just want him to mark them.
Yeah, if it's a hazard, just so somebody sees that
Yeah,
there's
I
a
don't want
hole
somebody
there.
to slip and fall in there or whatever.
Did I hear Trails Committee, they're gonna do that?
No, I just asked if Wayne could go over and put a couple
Oh, Wayne,
grade
yeah.
stakes
Okay.
around the hole, just until we figure out why they're there.
Yeah.
I was just asking, cause if someone said Concom, I need to know. That's fine. The last thing that I have is, I spoke to Karen about getting an email address, and, I think your response, Karen, was I don't need that. And that's fine, I don't really want an extra email address, I got half a dozen already or so. The problem is, the Conservation Commission, some of the members think that if they use their personal email account for Concom, then it's subject to, then all their emails in those accounts are subject to subpoena or.
Right to know.
Is that, I mean, Wouldn't just the emails pertinent to COMCOM be subject to?
Well,
There's
there shouldn't be any emails from the COMCOM committee, because everything has to be public. So there shouldn't be any discussions happening over email.
No, but if I send an email to the COMCOM, say notifying them that we have a meeting next Wednesday, which I'm gonna have to do, it goes to their personal email account. Well, since I'm emailing them, then
Does it
they're
open the door?
concerned. We've been told, like by more than one person, that there was some rumor going around that.
Does it open the door for,
That email account is then subject to, unrestricted, taking of emails for if a subpoena happened. I don't know, Karen, do you?
that's one of the reasons that we had to have,
But you would have so much more, I mean, if they're only sending agendas, there shouldn't be any response back. I think that would be
do
fine.
they ever respond back to you?
Yeah, they say, we
Yes,
say
they
we're
do
coming.
individually, but I laid the framework, after I met with Karen, when I took over the position, I told everyone, that there should not be a discussion amongst the COMCOM members, there should be no reply to all.
Right.
Basically, we can email each other, but there should be no reply to all, because that's a discussion, that's a meeting.
Right.
And Karen made that clear to me when I took over, so,
And you probably shouldn't be using emails for business. If you're telling everybody, hey, we're gonna have a meeting, that's one thing. But you shouldn't be discussing what the meeting's gonna be about, or what.
No, he
those
doesn't do
sorts of
that.
things.
He
no,
just-
but there are.
Don't do that on email.
I think Karen can check with New Hampshire municipals to put it to bed, either something we need to do, or if we can just put it to bed.
Yeah, if I don't need an extra email, I don't want one, but the members are concerned. They asked me about it, and I told them I would check into it, so.
What does it cost us for an email account?
It's like $4.
Huh?
It's like $4 per email
A month?
a month.
Okay, so that's pretty good, I wore 3 hats and four topics in 15 minutes.
Can you put your engineering hat back on? I have 2 more
Yeah.
questions. Do you have the alteration of terrain permit ready to go?
Yes,
Okay, so
Yes.
that, you'll need to coordinate that with Andy for signature so we can send it, and I have your 2 checks whenever you're ready to do that.
yes, okay.
And that was it.
Those have been ready to go for 2 weeks or more, so, but as we hurry to get this thing out, and when I say out, get the contract out and get everything out and bid, advertised, it was pretty clear that those weren't the critical path, critical path, so I didn't rush to get them over to Andy. But they're sitting right there and I can get them over here anytime, so, just sitting right on my desk right now.
Is there somebody else that you wanna have eyes on the bid docs?
Have what?
Have eyes on them and review the scope of the project, or? I mean, the council will review the contract piece of it, but that's 5 pages out of the 120.
Do you feel comfortable, or do you want somebody to look at?
I mean, I've skimmed through some of it, but I mean, the construction piece is not my wheelhouse by any means.
construction on what they're gonna be doing for the project?
I will tell you that the contract the base contract that we used to prepare it is prepared by the engineering joint board. It's a compilation of engineering professional societies and trade organizations that put this template together.
So in other words, nobody will be able to understand the language in it.
An engineer will get
If
it.
you need an attorney to review it, I could recommend one, but most town councils will have, they'll review it and they'll have some comments, but unless they do construction law, they won't get the nuances like any more than somebody will get the engineering side of it. It's up to you all, since we're not gonna construct this year, there's time if you want to go ahead and do it.
I'd be okay with legal review on it.
I think we'd have to rely on somebody with construction expertise to guide us anyways, so. I don't know that we have anybody in-house that would do it.
Construction wise, I can look at stuff, but I'm not
Not a construction engineer.
an engineer.
I could ask Kip, I haven't asked him yet.
What about the town engineer?
You can, but he'll charge you money, and he had the bid originally, and you didn't give it to him, so I don't know if
Yeah,
that'll work.
If you find someone who won't charge money, let me know, will ya?
I did ask our new police officer, but his project management skills are on the architectural side, not on the construction side.
Yeah, Jared,
I was trying to use my in-house resources.
I think legalese wise, you're gonna have somebody that would just review it, just to make sure that legally it's all up to par, and I'm familiar with looking through contracts and stuff, I'll look through it. I don't have a problem with that, but as far as the engineering aspect of it, that's where we would rely on.
Right.
Yeah, we're relying on your
I'm
expertise.
not worried about the engineering part of it, frankly. We've done a few of these, but if the town wants the legal, aspects of it reviewed, they could certainly do that.
Alright.
Any other questions?
No,
No,
I believe that concludes the public.
are we ready
session of
for your
this
motion?
meeting.
Motion to go into non-public in accordance with 91A, 311, A, B, C, D, and I to talk about
Actually,
personnel.
not all of them, it's just personnel.
Pick one.
Well,
Is
the
it-
whole chapter, I
is
read
it
the
anything
entire
else?
chapter.
Well, you're supposed to, you can't just
Thank you all.
randomly pick the chapter. You're
I do
supposed
that
to-
every single time. It's
I know, and I
91A.
try to correct you every single time.
There's no correcting.
I'll
Just
second,
personnel.
I'll second the correct
Is
motion.
it just employee matters?
Yes.
Yes. So usually I say the whole thing and then I say it's for employee issues.
Wait a minute.
All right, we'll not come
Aye.
back from, non-public. Have a good night.
Alright.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm gonna turn off the speakers.
Yep.
Getting awful hot in